The letters arrived without a return address. San Francisco, 1969. A cipher, hand-drawn in block symbols, landed on the desks of 3 Bay Area newspapers simultaneously. The sender called himself the Zodiac. He had already killed 5 confirmed victims in less than a year, shot or stabbed at lovers' lanes and roadsides across Northern California. The police had names, dates, and shell casings. What they did not have was a face. The first cipher contained 408 symbols arranged in 3 parts. The sender demanded it be printed on the front page, or he would go on killing. All 3 papers complied. Within days, a schoolteacher named Donald Harden and his wife Betty sat at their kitchen table and broke it. The decoded message offered no name, no address, only a declaration that killing gave him the most thrilling experience. It was better than getting his rocks off. The second cipher, sent days later, was different. Shorter, denser, and signed with a crossed circle the Zodiac had chosen as his mark. Investigators would spend decades trying to crack it. It remained unsolved for 51 years. By late 1969, the Zodiac had written to the San Francisco Chronicle more than a dozen times. He described his crimes in clinical detail, corrected press errors about his methods, and threatened to shoot children off school buses. The letters were postmarked from different cities. The handwriting never varied. On the night of September 27, 1969, Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard were picnicking at Lake Berryessa. A figure approached wearing a black hood with the Zodiac symbol stitched onto the chest. He tied them both, then stabbed them repeatedly. Hartnell survived. Shepard did not. Before leaving, the attacker wrote the dates of his previous attacks on the door of Hartnell's white car in black felt pen. 2 weeks later, a cab driver named Paul Stein was shot once in the head at the corner of Washington and Maple in San Francisco. 3 teenagers witnessed a white male wipe down the cab and tear a piece from Stein's shirt. The Zodiac later mailed that piece of shirt to the Chronicle as proof. A composite sketch went out across the country. Tips flooded in by the thousands. Detectives followed leads to Oregon, to Nevada, to small towns in the Central Valley. Every lead went cold. In 1971, a letter arrived addressed directly to attorney Melvin Belly. The handwriting matched. The tone had shifted, quieter, almost pleading. The writer said he was afraid he was losing control. He signed it with the crossed circle and asked for help. No arrest followed. The most serious suspect to emerge was Arthur Leigh Allen, a Vallejo schoolteacher and convicted sex offender. Detectives interviewed him twice. His home was searched. A Zodiac brand watch was found on his wrist, the same brand whose logo matched the killer's symbol. Witnesses placed him near 2 of the crime scenes. He passed a polygraph. The FBI ran his handwriting samples against the Zodiac letters and found no conclusive match. Allen died in 1992. He was never charged. Other suspects followed over the decades. A man named Lawrence Kane, whose phone records placed him in San Francisco on the night of the Stein murder. A man named Richard Gaikowski, a filmmaker, whose voice recording was compared against a 1969 radio call the Zodiac made to a dispatcher. A San Diego man named Gary Francis Poste, whose name, investigators claimed in 2021, could be anagrammed from characters in the Unsolved cipher. The FBI reviewed the claim and declined to confirm it. That cipher, the one sent in November 1969 and known as the 340 cipher for its number of characters, was finally cracked in December 2020. A team of private cryptographers working across 3 countries solved it after 51 years. The decoded message read in part that he was not afraid of the gas chamber because it would send him to paradise. It contained no name. The Zodiac's confirmed victim count stands at 5. He claimed in his letters to have killed 37. Whether that number was a boast, a provocation, or an accurate count has never been determined. Dozens of unsolved California murders from the late 1960s and early 1970s have been reviewed against his known methods. None produced a confirmed link. The San Francisco Police Department officially lists the Zodiac case as open. The case file runs to thousands of pages. More than 2,500 suspects have been named over 55 years by investigators, amateur researchers, and family members of the accused. The crossed circle has appeared in documentaries, feature films, academic papers, and cable specials. It has become one of the most analyzed symbols in American criminal history. The last confirmed Zodiac letter arrived in 1974. It referenced a film. It graded the press coverage of his case. It was signed, as always, with the count of victims he claimed and the crossed circle beneath. No fingerprint lifted from any letter or stamp was ever matched to a person in any database. What the letters do contain, beyond the taunts and the ciphers and the torn piece of Paul Stein's shirt, is a consistent and careful intelligence. The Zodiac understood forensic procedure well enough to avoid leaving usable evidence. He understood media well enough to control the narrative for years. He chose locations with clear sight lines and multiple exits. He varied his methods, his weapons, and his targets enough to prevent profilers from building a reliable pattern. The case is not cold in the way most unsolved cases are cold. It is not cold because of a lack of evidence or a lack of attention. It is cold because the one piece of information that would close it, a name attached to a living body with a verifiable history, has never surfaced in 55 years of searching. Somewhere in a Northern California archive, a box holds the original letters. The paper has aged. The ink has faded slightly at the edges. The crossed circle on the last page is still clear. The 37 was never verified.